Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of the Bubbles and Berries podcast. My name is Ode and I am coming to you from Edinburgh in Scotland, and this is my podcast where I talk about my knitting, my sewing sometimes, a bit of embroidery as well. I guess first things first, Happy New Year, Happy 2022. Wow. Yeah, I guess it's the first episode that I record since the new year, so it's okay, right, that I still say Happy New Year even though today is the 31st of January. So yeah, I don't know, in France, I'm originally French, we tend to say Happy New Year to someone that we have not yet seen in the new year up until the end of January. That's considered acceptable. Although I've been told by like friends from the US or even my husband who's from Canada that's a bit weird. It's a bit too long, but I don't know. That's just the way we do things, and I think it's quite nice to still wish a Happy New Year to people we haven't seen yet. And because it's the first time I'm recording this year, I'm wishing you all a very happy 2022. Hopefully it will be better than 2020 and 2021, although it is looking like it is going to be, fingers crossed. I hope you had a nice holiday season. I hope you had a good month of January. Yeah, I really wish you all the best for the rest of the year. So like I said, this is my podcast where I talk about sort of all the crafty things that I do. And today I have some knitting for you and a little bit of embroidery. I don't have any sewing. It's also been quite a while since I recorded a podcast, because I think my last sort of like normal episode I recorded early in November, and then I did a bit of a Christmas special where I shared all the gift knits that I recorded, also in part of it in November, part of it in December, and then I published it on YouTube right after Christmas because I didn't want the people who were receiving those gifts to see them before they actually got them. But yeah, since then I haven't really recorded like a regular podcast episode, and I have been knitting quite a bit, so I don't think I'm going to show you all that I have made because it's just going to take forever otherwise. I've just brought sort of the things that I've finished in 2022, with one exception. So yeah, let's get started. Grab yourself a drink if you wish, or you're knitting, or you're sewing, or your embroidery, or any crafts that you're into these days. I'm having coffee in my little Robin mug. Coffee and I have a strange relationship because I absolutely love the taste of coffee, the flavor. I love the smell, but like caffeine and I just, it doesn't work. I'm such a lightweight when it comes to like caffeine and alcohol and all of this, but I will have it every now and then. My husband really likes coffee and has really gotten into coffee lately, like learning all the different blends and roasts and I don't know, all sorts of things that I don't fully understand, and so he makes it, well, for me, probably weaker and a lot more diluted than most people like it, but I do like it that way. So yeah, cheers to you. All right, so shall we start? Well, we'll start with finished objects. I have 3 for you, and the first one is this. So I've actually, if you've watched my previous episodes, you know that I was knitting a no frills sweater by Petite Knit. I started it, I think, early in the fall, maybe like late September or October or something like this, and instead of doing it in like a DK weight like the pattern calls for, I went for a fingering weight yarn because, you know, why not make things complicated, right? And so it took me forever. That's sort of the bottom line, is that it took me forever, also because I was doing knitting other things alongside this jumper. And anyway, I think when I recorded an episode in November, I was nearly done, and then I finished it right after that. So it's been up the needle for a while. It's gotten a lot of love and a lot of wear, but I haven't shown it finished on the podcast yet, so I thought I would show it off. So this is what it looks like. It's a no frills, so it's a basic sorry, it's a basic raglan sweater, very, very simple. I'm gonna get up a bit and stop talking for a minute so I don't cover my mouth, but so yeah, so it turned out really, really, really beautiful. I really like it. It turned out, I'm not gonna lie, smaller than what I had anticipated, even though I knew, because I was using a fingering weight yarn, that it was gonna be smaller, and I planned all this. I think I ended up making a size large to get is like a finished size small, just because my yarn was thinner, my gauge was off and all of this, even though it turned out a bit smaller. But I actually don't mind it at all, because when I blocked it, I was like, oh no, it's just gonna be too cropped, too short. I'm not gonna like it. I don't really like really, really cropped, like waist height cropped things. That's not really my thing. But then like I actually really like this one. So it's not that cropped. Like if I get up, my waist is here, and this is like my hip bone is like right here. So it is past my waist, but it is shorter than what I would have bought in a store or something. But I actually really like it when I wear it with jeans and things. It's just like, it's the perfect length. I think it looks really nice. So I'm really, really happy, because it's not something that I would have necessarily gone for. It sort of happened by accident, and it was a very happy accident because I like it a lot. And so that's kind of a length of jumpers that I might do again in the future. So lengthwise it was nice. The sleeves also got a little bit shorter than I'd anticipated, which I also quite like. I think it's what you call bracelet length sleeve, I don't know, which I quite like because it's not over my hand. I'm always pulling my sleeves up, and with this one I don't really need to. I don't feel the need to. So yeah, overall really happy. The one thing is that I find that it's a bit high here, and I wonder because like my yarn and my gauge and everything was off, maybe I should have done a few more short rows in the back to maybe compensate a bit more. Although I've heard a fair amount of people say that the pattern is such that it feels a bit high up at the front, so maybe it's just the way the pattern is designed. I don't mind ultimately, it's just because none of my other jumpers come to this height. Whenever I put it on, that's what I feel first, but then I get used to it very quickly. So yeah, it's just a thing. It's like if I do it again, I might try and do something about it. Again, I might not, I don't know. Also, if I do it again, I'm not going to do it in fingering weights. It's just putting this out there. I'll do it in DK or something else, but yeah, fingering weight jumpers. I'm going to wait a little bit until I do another one because that took a long time. Yeah, the yarn, I've talked about the yarn extensively in previous episodes if you want to check that out, but I'll just go over it quickly again. It's a cone from Jamieson and Smith. This is what I have left. It was 500 grams of yarn when I first got it. It's their 2-ply jumper weight. I think it's actually showing really nice. I don't know what the light is doing. It's February or like January in Scotland, so you know, we'll just live with that. But yeah, so it's their 2-ply jumper weight. It behaves like a 4-ply fingering weight yarn. Like that's how you use it. So you hold it single for fingering weight. I guess you can also hold it double for DK. And it came in 500-gram cone, and I think the jumper in the end ended up weighing 250-ish grams. So I have about half of it left. So I guess I could make another jumper, which I'm not, because I don't really want to have 2 jumpers of the same yarn and same color. What I might make though is maybe like a vest. I might make a vest with some of it, and then if I still have leftover, then I'll use it in color work, because it's a great yarn for color work anyway. Because I got it on a cone, it felt a bit rough, like dry rough, if that makes sense, which I didn't mind at all. It was really nice to knit with. I do like the feel of rustic yarns more than superwash ones anyway, so that's just my personal preference, and so I really enjoy knitting with it. And yeah, because it's a cone, it has a bit of the spinning oil still on it, which washed out beautifully, like no problem at all. It took like 3 or 4 rinses to get the water fully clear, because the oil gets released into the water when you wash it, so it's a bit like gray. I guess the water was a bit gray, but yeah, I rinsed it like 4 times I think, and then the water was completely clear and it was just fine. It bloomed so beautifully. If you're worried about like your stitches not being super regular, super even, super neat or whatever, like everything gets erased in the blocking with this. Like it was just, yeah, I was worried a bit at the back because of, you know, always the short rows, because there's some purling, and often our purling tension is not the same as our knitting, and like when we knit flat it's not the same as when we knit in the round, and things like that. But yeah, it's like everything is super even, super nice. Let me see if I can maybe show you a bit closer. Yeah, you can also see the depth of color. It's mostly orange, but it's got some greens and yellows and browns, and the shade is 1285, and it's really, really nice. I have worn it a fair bit and it hasn't pilled yet, so we'll see. I think generally speaking, like rustic yarns don't, or like not necessarily rustic yarns, actually, like scratchier wools don't pill as much as softer wools. Like this is 100% Shetland wool. I think it's not going to pill as much as a merino, for example. I think alpaca pills quite a bit. I don't know. It's not really something I'm worried about. You know, like some yarns spill. That's the way it is, and yeah, you give it a little shave every now and then, and that's fine. It's not like, it's never really something that I'm bothered about, even if like I've worn the thing once or twice and it starts spilling already. Like it's just the way it is, you know. Yeah. In terms of comfort, it's not, I don't find it itchy at all. Sometimes just a little bit here, but it's just a matter of a few minutes until I warm up, and then it's fine. Right now, underneath I'm wearing like a V-neck short sleeve t-shirt, and so all of this is next to skin. My arms is next to skin, and it's fine. I have no issues with it. Also because I'm super happy. I've actually found out, or not found out, but it turns out that I'm actually no longer sensitive to wool, or not as much as I thought I was, or as I used to be. So yeah, I'm super happy, because it used to be that I couldn't wear any wool next to skin whatsoever. It was just too itchy. Yeah, it was not fun at all. So I either didn't wear wool so much, or that was before I was knitting, obviously, or I would always have to wear something underneath, like something that properly covered all of my skin that could come into contact with the wool. But yeah, it turns out that that's no longer the case, so yay me. I don't know why that is. I think maybe just because I'm handling wool so much more now that I knit a lot. My body is just getting used to it. I don't know, but you know, I'm happy with it, so not complaining, and yeah, enjoying it very much. So yeah, that's my No Frills sweater by Petite Knit, knit in Jamieson and Smith, 2-ply jumper weight. I think I will make another one of those jumpers in the future. I'm looking up because I have yarns of like cones of yarns and stuff, and I have some that could do. I have a dark blue, navy blue that could make a nice jumper weight. Not a nice jumper weight, a nice jumper period. I was also thinking of maybe using it sort of as a like a plain, simple pattern, and then maybe like embroider on it. I know it's a bit of a, it was a bit of a trend, I think, like earlier this year, maybe in the summer, where you would like embroider on your jumpers on wool, which I haven't tried. I do a lot of embroidery, but I haven't tried doing it on a wool jumper. But I think it would be really fun. And then that's a very like basic, in a good way, a very basic jumper, and so you can do a lot of things with embroidery. So that's what I might do in the future. We'll see. All right, let's move on to my second finished object, and this is a pair of socks that I made for my husband. And so that was a Christmas present that I finished yesterday. So yeah, he doesn't mind. He was aware. So I started these towards the end of November, knowing that I might have to put them aside to make some other gift knits, because I was planning to make things for my family for Christmas, and so these things needed to be done for Christmas. Whereas if like I was a bit late on my husband's present, it was okay, because obviously we live together, so I could give it to him later. Yeah, it just so happened that later was over a month late, but that's fine. He doesn't mind. Under the Christmas tree at Christmas, I ended up just putting the project bag, because he knew I was making a pair of socks, I think. He didn't know the yarn, or he didn't remember, because I think I'd shown him the yarn, but he didn't remember what it looked like. So I don't know, I just put my project bag with the socks in the making under the Christmas tree, and then I was like, oh yeah, I'll finish them quickly, and then it was a month. But anyway, they're done now. So this is what they look like. There's just, I'm not putting them on the sock blocker because he's got very big feet, and I don't have a sock blocker that's large enough. Like if I use mine, I can literally fold it like this, because all of this bit is just dangling off. So anyway, so these are the socks. They're a basic 3x1 rib. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, a 3x1 rib sock. Stockinette, plain stockinette under the foot. Heel flap and gusset, my usual, with the garter edge, and then a round toe, same thing, my usual. The heel and toe is a contrasting yarn, and then the rest is a self-striping yarn that I bought. I think I bought it in September last year at Perth Festival of Yarn, which is a yarn festival in Scotland that happens in the autumn. And Perth is about an hour and 15 minutes by train from Edinburgh. So I went there and I saw this yarn and I really loved it. I thought my husband would like the colors, and so that's what I got. And so the yarn is from Giddy yarns. I don't know if that is focusing. I can't really tell. So Giddy yarns, she's a yarn dyer based in Dundee, so it's also in Scotland, and that is a 75/25 fingering weight sock yarn in the colorway Highlands. And so, like I said, it is a self-striping, which is really fun. It was my first time knitting with self-striping yarn, and I really enjoyed it. It's a bit addictive. It's funny because in one sense I found it a bit addictive in that you want to get to the next color, to the next stripe, and then part of me is like, well, then why did it take you so long to finish? But I don't know, life. So yeah, and then for the heel and toe, I used a mini that I had that I got from, I think, in like a mystery box or a D-stash box. It's from Botanical Yarn, and I never really know what to do with minis, so I don't usually buy any, but it just so happened that in this box there were a few, and this color was perfect for this sock. So yeah, happy. I'm happy. He's happy. They fit. All is good. And they're off my needle most of all, which is, yeah, I enjoyed them, but I don't want to spend like 3 months on a pair of socks, you know what I mean? So I'm glad they're off the needles, they're washed, they're blocked on a blocker that's too small, and now he's gonna wear them. They're like a merino yarn, and usually when I've made socks for him in the past, I've used more like BFL sock yarn because I find that they're a bit sturdier and thicker, and he's pretty rough on his socks. But I really love the colorways of this, like for him. I knew that he would like that a lot, so we'll see. I'm anticipating that they will show signs of wear faster than the other socks, but you know, that's fine, it's socks. And if there's holes in them, then we'll mend them, and then if not, then we'll just knit more socks. It's all right. They're just meant to be worn, you know. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about these socks. Oh yeah, I did 72 stitches around with the rib, which I think is fine, but he's got like quite wide feet, and I wonder if next time I might go up to like 80 stitches or something with the rib. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. They fit, they're fine, they fit. So yeah, that's finished object number 2. Now finished object number 3. I'm gonna have some coffee because I think it's probably cold by now. I live near a park, and the window, I'm my office now, or like home, well, what was supposed to be my home office when we moved, because I work from home. But like honestly, I just need a computer or my iPad to work. I don't actually need a lot of space, and so this room has quickly become more of a craft room. Like this is my desk, but usually it's just got my sewing machines on that, and I don't really have space to put my computer, which is fine. I just work in the living room. But anyway, what I'm saying is that the window looks out onto a park, and there's always so many dogs, so I get so distracted. So I think it may also be a good thing that I don't actually work here very much. Anyway, third finished object is this hat, and it's so nice, and I love it, and that is one of my first FOs of 2022, and I love it so much. So let me tell you about the yarn first. So the yarn is by Zakami yarn. I'm sure you've heard of them. They make beautiful yarn, absolutely beautiful yarn. They hand dye the yarn, but they have the best bases. A lot of them are non-superwash. I don't think any of them have nylon in it, and they have like such nice colors, like deep like tonals or solids, which you don't often find in indie dyers. I find personally that a lot of the time it's very like variegated or with like speckles and things, and I like solids and I like tonal. So yeah, so I've had my eye on their yarn for so long, and then yeah, I finally got some. Also, what happened is that they moved to Edinburgh very recently, and Melinda, so the woman in the pair who dyes the yarn, runs a knit night now, which I've been going to every week, and so we've become friends and everything. And so I was like, okay, I really need to get yarn because it's beautiful, and I don't know why I haven't bought it before. So after all, if you've seen my last episode, you know that Christmas didn't go as anticipated because of COVID restrictions, and so like I need to buy myself some yarn to make me feel better. So I bought this one, this beautiful like red, orangey red. I think it was one of their festive colorway. I don't know that she called them Christmas. I think like festive colorways. And so it is called, the colorway is called Unsung Heroes, and it is 100% superwash fine merino, 400 meters per 100 grams. Yeah, a fingering weight. And so I bought this one with the intention of making a headband. But then when I got it in the post, Melinda had actually included the matching Suri silk alpaca one, which I hadn't ordered, and she'd included it as a gift, which was so, so lovely. It made me so, so happy. I'm so grateful. And yeah, so I got this one too, and then the headband that I had in mind had a bit of a textured pattern, and because this yarn is so beautifully fluffy, the texture didn't come through, and then I was like, no, I need to find something simple so the yarn can shine. And so this is what I did. So let me just tell you what this one is. So it's the same colorway, Unsung Heroes, and it's 74% baby Suri alpaca and 26% silk. 300 meters per 50 grams, so lace weight. And it's so soft. So I'd heard of Suri alpaca, like around, but I never tried it. And I don't know why, and I really regret it because it's so nice. It's so soft. It doesn't itch. I find mohair a little bit itchy, especially on my face. This one, absolutely not. It's so fluffy. I find that it doesn't shed as much as mohair too, which is always nice. And yeah, I don't know, it was such a joy to knit with. It's such a joy to wear. And so what I made is this hat, which you may recognize. It's the slouchy beanie by Inge of Knitting Traditions. I'd made one of those already in the autumn or the summer, an orange one out of DK yarn, which I think I showed in my first or my second episode. And so I wanted to make another one in this red color. To me, this kind of red color is definitely a winter color for me. I associate colors with very specific seasons, and yeah, this to me is winter. So yeah, that's what I did. So the ribbing is really lovely because it's a twisted rib, but not the annoying kind when you have to like twist the pearls and the knits. So you just twist the knits on this one, which in the end is not that different than regular rib. And yeah, then it's just like a plain stockinette, some really nice decreases. And so the one that I made before, I made it to wear it as a fitted beanie because that's how I like to wear my hats. And so I figured I would just do the same here. And I think what happened is that probably between then and now, I'm a little bit of a looser knitter, I would say. Also, I think the combination of these two yarns I've used here held together wasn't as thick as the DK that I used before. So it just ended up, and also the material is different, so it just ended up being a lot drapier and also bigger than I anticipated, which is fine. I was a bit bummed at first because I was like, oh no, that's not the hat I wanted to make. But then it turns out that it's working really well again, like happy accident, because I am now wearing this, and I'm gonna put it on my head. I am now wearing this as a slouchy one. So the other one that I have, I wear as a fitted one, and now this one I wear as a slouchy one, which I never thought I was the slouchy beanie wearing kind of person, but I am. So there you go. I don't know if it shows. Yeah, and it's really, I like it. It's really nice. I think it traps a bit of air in the back in the slouchy bit, so it's even warmer. It's super, super lightweight. It feels like wearing a cloud, literally, like on my head. I feel like I have a cloud. Sometimes I'm out and about and I'm wearing it and I forget that I'm wearing a hat because I can't feel it because it's so light. And it's so, so warm from the Suri alpaca, right? It's so fluffy that it traps the heat so well. So it's incredibly warm, and yeah, I love it. I really love it. So I'm so, so happy with it. I have about half of the yarn left, so half of each, 50 grams of each, or like 50 grams of the fingering weight, and then I guess 25 grams of the lace, but half of it in the same meterage. So I was thinking I was gonna make a cowl, like a matching cowl. Probably just like very simple, like do a bit of 1x1 twisted rib to match this, and then just plain, and then a bit more ribbing. And so I would do the ribbing, weigh how much yarn I used for that, and then do plain until I have enough left to do another like equal ribbing, and then that'd be it. That way I use it all up, because I don't want to have leftovers of this yarn. It's just so nice that I really want to use it all up. So yeah, that's the plan in the future. I think I can't remember what needles I used. I think I used 4. All of the things that I make I put on Ravelry, so if you're ever curious as to like the yarn or the needles or whatever I use, it's all on Ravelry. Although I am a fairly tight knitter, so you might not want to like blindly copy the my needle choices, because it might not work for everyone. But yeah, so that's finished object number 3. I wear it all the time. I have this hat and I have another one, a blue one that I made last year, and that's pretty much all that I wear when I go out. Although to be fair, we haven't had a really cold summer, because we're not in summer. We haven't had a really cold winter. Last year around this time we had snow and everything, but this year it's just been weird, because we've had days with like 2 degrees, and which is fairly cold for Scotland, and then the next day it's 9 degrees. So it's a bit hard to like, it's a bit in between. Like some days feel like fall or spring, and some days feel somewhat like winter, but it's not that cold. But I don't know, it's been a mild winter, and I'm still hoping that we'll have some really cold temperature in like towards the end of February. It happens sometimes, but we'll see. We've had a lot of wind, which is not the most pleasant thing, but that's what it is when you live by the sea, right? It's often what happens. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about the weather. So yeah, I'm talking about this hat. It's beautiful. I love this pattern. It's the second time that I'm making it. It's probably not going to be the last. It's just so easy. It looks really nice. Like, just, yeah, a really nice pattern. Really lovely yarn. And yeah, highly, highly recommend. I'm going to take it off now because it's a bit hot in here. All right. So those were, trying to do something with the hair. My 3 finished objects that I wanted to share with you in this podcast today. And so now I'm going to move on to work in progress. And I say work because I've only got one. I got the socks for my husband's of the needles yesterday, and then I want to make a bit of progress on what I'm about to show you before I cast on something else. I find that I've been a bit more of a monogamous knitter lately. Even if I have several projects on the go, I'm going to focus on one, finish it, and then pick up the next one. And I kind of like it. So I'll keep doing that until I don't like it anymore, and then I want to have more stuff to knit. So my whip is a jumper, and so let's see, first things first, I am carrying the yarn on this, so I guess I have a quick acquisition section, but I'll show you this now, which you have seen before. Let me see if I can show it so you can see it well. I'm sure you've seen it on Inga's podcast, Knitting Traditions, because that's where I first heard of it. And I saw it and I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then at the same time, I was like, do you really need it? Nah, maybe not. Or anyway, and then I got some like money for Christmas as a gift, and I was like, okay, I'm getting it. Let's get it. So this is called a twister, and it's a little tool that allows you to have your yarn, like to carry your yarn with you in a convenient way. So basically you put this around your wrist, and then you go ahead and knit using your yarn, and then it just spins like this as you pull on the yarn. It's very smooth, and yeah, so it's been brilliant, really. it's just, I like it when you're like, when I'm out and about, or when I go and if I want to sit somewhere and knit, just so I don't have to put my project bag on the floor, or like if I'm in a public space and then I put my bag on the seat next to me, but then that means that like I can't justify using up another seat just for my yarn. I mean, I guess I think I could, but it's not a very nice thing to do. So yeah, it's just like, I just have it around my wrist, and it's not like, nothing is on the floor, nothing like that. It dispenses the yarn very smoothly, very easily. So yeah, super happy with that. So it's called a twister, and I put the links to everything that I talk about down below in the description if you guys want to check them out. I think they are made in Sweden, but the woman who makes them or owns the pattern or the business or whatever ships them out from the Netherlands, because I think that's where she lives probably. And she shipped it out to the UK, and it was really fast, and I didn't have to pay like customs fees, which is a good, if you're in the UK, you know that's always a good thing to know, because Brexit, we don't know if we're like paying fees for things or not, where we didn't used to before when we were in the EU. So yeah, no customs fees for this particular item. Not sure why, not sure if it just slipped through the cracks or if it didn't qualify, but yeah, just so you know. So anyway, the twister, and so that yarn is attached to, don't move, my Felix pullover that I really like. That's the posting that I really like a lot, and this is what it looks like. So I started this, I don't know, like early January or something like that, and then I put it aside while I was finishing the socks, but I've picked it up now and it's going really well. I'm sure you know the pattern, it's quite a popular pattern. There's a pullover, a jumper, and there's also a cardigan. It's a very simple raglan sweater, again, kind of like this one, except that you have a nice detail, like the increases are eyelets, and so it looks very nice. I think you can see here. And yeah, it's just a very nice, very simple detail, and then the rest is plain stock in it. The pattern is super easy to follow. Would definitely recommend if it's you're looking for a first sweater to knit. And yeah, so I think I need to do, I should have put it on a longer cable, I'm sorry. I think I need to do about another 10 centimeter, like up to here maybe, to the body, and then do the ribbing, and then I will do the sleeves. I am knitting this on, let me tell you the yarn. I am knitting this in Blacker Yarns. So I've used their yarn before. I think I was showing you my first episode, a blue vest that I made that was also their yarn. Their base, I guess, is called Tor. It's an Aran weight yarn, and the colorway is 13th birthday. So I think it was maybe a one-of-a-kind colorway. I'm not really sure. I bought it off of someone who was having a de-stash, but then I've seen similar colors in other yarns on their website. So I don't know if I don't know what happened. Maybe like they brought out this colorway then, and then it was so popular that now they have it as a permanent colorway, or I don't really know. It's a very dark teal, and it's really, really pretty, and I like it a lot. And so yeah, it's Aran weight. Did they say anything? Oh yeah. So 200 meters per 100 gram, woolen spun, 92% pure new wool, and 8% alpaca. And so I am knitting it on 6mm needles, US 10, I think it is. And it's the first time, I think it's the largest needle size that I've ever used. Which is fine. I don't mind. Like I'm quite comfortable knitting with those. And so yeah, because it's Aran weight yarn and large needles, it knits up really quickly, especially after something like that. So yeah, I don't think there's much more that I want to say about it, but I'm really excited about it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna work on that almost exclusively for a while. I'm just doing stockinette right now, so it's really good TV knitting and things like that. Not the most portable one, but I mean, I work from home and we're still in a bit of a COVID situation, so it's not like I have many places to go. And yeah, I think I'm making the second size. So I was originally planning to make the first size because the pattern is made or written with a lot of positive ease, a lot more than I usually like. So I figured if I made the first size, then it would have the amount of positive ease that I like. But then when I got to the first size, so what's kind of cool with this pattern actually is that you start the same for every size, and where the difference for each size comes in is that you do more of those increases repeats. So the first size has 4, and so when I got to that point and I tried it on and it was just really tight here, it was going to be too small, especially because when I swatched, it turns out that yarn doesn't move too much after you wash it and block it, so it didn't particularly grow. I'm anticipating it to grow with the sweater just because it's heavier than a swatch, but still, like, I don't think it's going to move very much, so I'm going for I'm trying to have an unblocked, unwashed garment that actually fits me the way I want to, just in case it doesn't change a lot after washing. Like, I don't want to count on blocking to make a big difference. That's what I'm trying to say. And so I did the 4 repeats, and then yeah, it was just too small, so I decided to do a 5th one, which moved me into the second size, and now I think it's gonna fit great. For the length, I think I'm gonna do what the pattern calls for. I think it's gonna work fine. And then the sleeves, I don't know, I'm not there yet, but by then I'll just try it on and we'll see. The one thing is that for sleeves, I usually use small circular needles. I'm not a big fan of Magic Loop. I really don't like DPNs, so I never use DPNs. And Magic Loop I use for toes on socks, usually that's the only time, and then decreases on top of the hat when there's too few stitches for small circular. It's never been an issue for sleeves. I've always been able to do them on my small circulars all the way until binding off, pretty much. The thing is, I can't find 9-inch circulars in 6mm needles. I have the 2 small Xiaogu sets, the red and the blue, and it goes, I think, up to 5 or 5.5. And I've been looking for fixed ones or maybe just tips that I could add onto the cables I have, and I can't find any. So I think I'm gonna have to do all the sleeves on Magic Loop, which on the one hand I'm not particularly looking forward to. On the other hand, it's gonna knit up quickly and I'm not gonna have to do this forever. And then it's gonna be practicing a Magic Loop, and which is always a good thing, you know. It's not because it's not your favorite technique that you shouldn't do it ever, I don't think. And it's an important one, I think, to know how to do Magic Loop well. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I was a bit worried that there might be a jog, where you like in between your 2 sort of lines of stitches when you do Magic Loop, but I don't know. I don't think there would be, because there isn't any at my beginning of round, I guess, where sometimes there is. And also the yarn is really rustic, and I think it blooms a bit, and I think it's just gonna even itself out. So yeah, it's gonna be good. Show you one last time, and yeah, I hope it'll be done the next time I record. And I see now, looking at my phone, there seems to be a line across and like sometimes I see it and sometimes I don't, and I don't know, I can't tell if it's a difference in color, but I don't think so, because the yarn is all, first of all, I don't know that it's hand dyed, and also it's all the same dye lot. I think it may just be like it may be a place where I change. I don't think it's where I changed skein, so it could be where I joined, or maybe it's been folded there for a while. I don't know, we'll see. I'm sure it'll block out, and even if it doesn't, I don't care very much. I think it's not going to prevent me from wearing it. I really love the color, so and the yarn and the pattern, so I'm just going to wear it all the time, and I can't wait to be done with it. Yeah, I'm going to stop rambling. I think that's all I wanted to say about this jumper. I hope it'll be done by the next time I record a podcast. And yeah, I'm going to put it back in the bag. And so the bag I'm using actually is one of my newer designs. So if you're new here, because we've had quite a few new followers or subscribers lately, hi. It's really nice to have you here. I make bags. I make project bags that I sell on Etsy. So I sew them and I embroider them myself, and I design the embroidery myself. And I come up with a new design, not every month, but every so often. And then I sell them. I do a shop update usually once a month. And yeah, and that was my latest design that it was up in my January shop update. It was a New Year sort of wintry design, and then yeah, it will be available from now on in all the shop updates, and it's called Winter Bouquet, and this is what it looks like. None of my other designs had blue in them, and so I thought I would do something a bit wintry with blue tones. All right, yeah, so that's what it is. My next shop update, if you're interested, is going to be mid-February, Wednesday the 16th of February at 7 p.m. British time, so we are GMT right now. I used to do them Friday end of day, like Friday 5 p.m. and then I did a little survey to see if that time still over on Instagram, to see if that time still worked for people, or if another time would be more convenient, and it turned out that Wednesday evenings might be more convenient, so that's what I'm going to try next time, and we'll see how it goes. So it'll be mid-February. I don't know that I will record a podcast before then, I don't think so, but I will post more about it on Instagram, so if you're interested, you might want to follow me over there. It's Bubbles and Berries. I'll have the link down below. And I think also if you favorite my shop on Etsy, which is also Bubbles and Berries, you might get a notification when items become available, I think. I don't know, I kind of turn off notification for most things, but I think that's part of the deal. If you favorite a shop, then you get notified when they have new items in the shop, or if items become available again after selling out. So yeah, all that to say, that was the bag that I was using. Try not to make too much noise. Yeah, that's all the knitting that I wanted to show you today. Like I said, I don't have any sewing. I haven't really felt like sewing lately, although I do have a bunch of fabric and things that I want to make, so I think I might make a few things before the next podcast. Embroidery, which is sort of my third craft. I mean, they're not like ranked by whatever, it's just like I like knitting, I like sewing, and I like to do embroidery. In terms of embroidery, I have actually been thinking about designing embroidery patterns, I guess, because I have my bags, and I know a lot of people have asked me if I would sell the pattern for the bag so they can make it themselves, because they've been selling out fairly quickly, and unfortunately a lot of people have been missing out. Not the only reason is that like I don't make a lot every month, because this is a side thing for me, it's not my main job, and they also bags take a lot of time to make, so I can only commit to make a few every month. And so they've been selling out fairly quickly. And so people have asked if I were going to sell like designs, and so they could make it themselves. And so no, I don't think I'm going to sell the designs for my own bags, but I think I am working on creating embroidery designs that will be available to purchase as PDFs, I think, for now, with the outline that you can draw, the pictures, the colors, and all the instructions, so that you can embroider it yourself, either in an embroidery hook that you can then hang on the wall, or if you want to embroider that on fabric and then sew your own bag or on clothing or whatever. So this is what I'm going to be working on throughout February and March. I'm not really sure when I'm going to release anything. Again, I'll post all about it on Instagram mostly. But yeah, I'm really excited about that. I think it's going to be really fun. I've never written instructions for other people, embroidery instructions. That's going to be an interesting thing to learn. What I have done is that I've bought myself a few embroidering patterns off of other creators, just to see like how they explain things, because I want to make sure that things are clear. And I've been embroidering for a long time, and so a lot of things seem a bit obvious to me just because of the experience, and so I don't know what is actually obvious and intuitive and what is not. So yeah, I'm gonna try that. I have a few friends lined up to just like have a look at it, and they have various level of experience in embroidering, so they can tell me if it's clear or if it's not, or if I could say things differently and all of this. I'll make sure to include video tutorials for the various stitches and all of this. But yeah, this is a thing that I'm going to be working on over the next few weeks, and I'm really excited about it, and we'll see what happens. I think at first I'll sell things as PDFs so that they're not very expensive and you can easily get them through my Etsy shop. And then I don't know if some people are interested, I might do kits, like physical kits that you get in the post, with all the materials that you need and all of that, if that's something people want. I don't know. It's at the very, very early stages of this project, but I'm really excited. I have so many design ideas. Yeah, I'm really excited. So that's sort of what's happening on the embroidery front right now. And yeah, I think craft-wise, that's about it. I was thinking about doing some acquisitions, and the thing is, it's been so long since I've actually sat down and recorded a podcast that I've acquired like a decent amount of yarn, especially because there's been Black Friday and then Boxing Day and Christmas and all of this, and I don't want to show it all because it's going to take us a long time. So I've actually thought that I might show a couple of yarn related or like knitting related things that aren't yarn. And by that I mean, well, one of them was that twister tool thingy that I showed earlier, which is really fun, if you're interested. And then the other two things that I wanted to show are stitch markers, or like progress keepers, and a book. So I'm going to start with the progress keepers. And if you know Brogan of Woolly Witchcraft, it's a knitting podcast. She's also a designer. She's based in Scotland as well, in Glasgow, and she recently started making little progress keepers out of using gemstones and selling them on her Etsy shop. And so when I saw that, I was lucky enough to be able to get some in her first shop update, and so I really wanted to support her, and they're beautiful anyway, so I bought a few. So I hope they show. So this is what I got, and they're so pretty. And so I have one, I think this one, hold on, I'm trying to be professional, but I'm really not. This one is using amethyst, I think, with a little feather. And then these two, and there's actually a third one that's on my Felix right now, are using, I think, what am I doing? What am I doing? Oh, wait. There we go. Are using, I think it's moss agate or something like that. And one has a little charm, like the tree of life. And yeah, they're really pretty. They have lobster thingy, lobster clasp or whatever they're called, which I like because then I can use them as actual progress keepers, or sometimes what I do is that I'm gonna clasp them onto a regular like circular stitch marker to use as a stitch marker. But I think she said that she was gonna make, well, she said she was gonna make more, and possibly with more, like more ends, like some of them have a clasp and then some of them just have like a loop, like a circle, just to use as a stitch marker. So that's one acquisition that I wanted to show you. She doesn't have things in her shop all the time. She does kind of a shop update kind of thing. So the best way, if you want some, is to follow her on Instagram, because I think that's where she announces most of her shop updates. And also you can, again, favorite her Etsy shop, which is called, I can't remember, I think it's Woolly Witchcraft Treasures or Woolly Treasures or something like that. But go check her Instagram. That's the best place to be. She has a link to her shop, and then you can keep up with her shop updates and if you want to get some. So that was one acquisition that I wanted to show you. And then the second one is this book that is, I don't think it's new by any means, but it's new to me because I just bought it. And it's this. It's called 10 Years in the Making by Kate Davis. If you've watched the podcast before, you know that I like Kate Davis's design a lot. I've made at least one of them before. And I don't know, I can't remember how I ended up. I was looking for books, for like knitting books, and I don't know why I was looking for knitting books, because like I have plenty and I have lots of patterns that I already own or that I want to, like my favorites list on Ravelry is huge. But yeah, anyway, I ended up looking at this book and really loving it and decided to buy it because there's so many things in there that I want to make. So I'm just going to show you a few, some of my favorites. Does it say when the book was published actually? Oh, it says first published in 2020. So actually it's not that old. I thought it was a bit older than that. But yeah, so 2020. And so let me see. Oh yeah, this one. This one I like a lot. This cardigan, and it also comes as a jumper that is also very nice. And then I think the one that really caught my eye, which I think is going to be quite a bit of work when I get around to making it, is this one. It's like a vest or like a jacket, or I don't know. It's so beautiful. I love it. I might not make it in those colors, but it's so nice. Let me see if I can show you another picture. Yeah, I don't want to show too much of the instructions, but yeah, look. It's all over color work and it has a big hood, and yeah, it's just so beautiful. So yeah, that's another acquisition. I don't think I've ever shown any of the books that I've bought, and so I thought I would, instead of showing yarn, I would show you a book. I really want to try and knit more from my books this year. I have a few things in like in my plans for 2022 that I think I have patterned in books or magazines that I own. I didn't do a make 9. I did like, I think it's called a maker's dozen, just because there are so many things. And I put pictures up on my Instagram of my plans, and also it's all in my queue on Ravelry if you want to have a look for inspiration or something of things that I want to make this year. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. I have the yarn for, I think, all of those 12 patterns. So technically I do not need to buy yarn in 2022, but you know, who am I kidding? Of course I'm going to buy some yarn. But yeah, that was my acquisition, and I think that's about it for this podcast. I feel like I've been a little bit all over the place, mostly because I'm out of practice. Oh no, one last thing. I wanted to do podcast recommendations. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and then just I forgot, you know, towards the end of the episode. But it's really something that, yeah, I want to do. You know, if I enjoy a podcast, then I want to share it with other people. And so I've got 2 for you today, and I'm just looking because I wrote them down here. So the first one is one that I've been watching from the start, and it's called The Pomegranate Girl. The podcaster's name is Annie, and she's really sweet, really lovely. She lives down in Bristol, but I think she's originally from Wales or her family is part Welsh. I think she may have like 5 episodes or 4 episodes right now, and she makes really, really lovely things. She knits and she sews as well, and so she shares about her sewing as well as her knitting. She also talks about the books that she enjoys reading, and yeah, it's really, really fun podcast to watch, so I highly recommend that. And then the second one is actually one that I found out about through Annie by watching her podcast, and it's called Orchid's Heart by the lovely Ophelia. And yeah, again, very, very lovely podcast. Ophelia does a lot of various crafts, which I like. I really like those podcasts where people do a lot of different things. So she knits, obviously. She sews as well. And then like I think she makes stitch markers that she sells sometimes online. I think she also sometimes talks about like making candles and like hand creams or face creams or like cosmetics kind of things. And yeah, I really like her vibe, or the vibe of her podcast is very like lovely and cozy, and I really, really enjoy watching her. And she has a fair amount of episodes, but maybe like 15, so it's been really fun going back and looking at the older episodes as well. So yeah, that's the second podcast recommendation for you if you're looking for something new to watch. And please let me know in the comments what podcasts you like watching these days, because I'm always happy to watch someone new to me. Yeah, that's podcast recommendation. I don't know that I have anything else to say. I sometimes do a bit of live chat at the end, but there's not much happening. Oh no, actually that's a lie. There's my family is coming. So if you've watched my last episode, you know that my family was supposed to come for Christmas, and that didn't happen. We had to cancel everything about 3 days prior to their arrival because of COVID travel restrictions and last minute bans and all sorts of things. So it was a pretty tough Christmas, because we were so excited to see each other. We haven't seen each other since the end of 2019, so it's been a very long time because of COVID. But both the UK and France, because they're coming from France, have eased their travel restrictions quite a bit since December, and travel is now not only allowed but also fairly easy. The rules of like testing and all of this are fairly it's fairly easy. It's not a big deal. So yeah, my family has booked tickets for mid-February to come here for about a week, and I'm really excited about that. Fingers crossed that nothing happens, like nothing bad happens over the next 2 weeks that will prevent them from coming. because that, like, I don't know, that would be so sad. But yeah, I'm really, really, really looking forward to seeing them. I think they're really, really looking forward to coming too. And a lot of the stuff that we wanted to do over at Christmas, which we ended up, even before they had to cancel the whole trip, like some activities we wanted to go and visit a distillery and things like that, we had to cancel because of COVID rules at the time. We can now do all of this. So yeah, fingers crossed it stays that way and they can come in mid-February and we can have a bit of a late family gathering / Christmas / just spending time together. So yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to that. So that's the big thing when it comes to like live chat now, and hopefully everything will go well. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna leave you here. I think I've rambled enough. And thank you so much for watching, especially if you stayed until the end. I'm sorry this was a little bit disorganized. I will try and do better next time. I'm just out of practice. Feel free to leave a comment below if you wish, or leave a thumbs up. There's also an email address down below if you want to message me. You can also message me over on Instagram. That's where I'm the most active. And yeah, until then, have a lovely rest of your day or your week, whenever it is that you're watching this. And I will see you next time. Bye!